In this video, I'm going to cover 6 tips that you can use to unlock your full athletic potential. Hey there, I'm Eli Straw, mental performance coach and the founder of SuccessStartsWithin.com. Now, what does it mean to unlock your full athletic potential? Is this some ideal version of yourself that we're working to get to where once you achieve that version of yourself, you can say, I've made it, I'm as good as I'm ever going to be? That could be one interpretation of you reaching your full athletic potential, but that's not actually what I am referring to. The reason I'm not referring to that is because I always think there's a little bit more that you can get out of yourself, right? You can get a little bit stronger, a little bit faster, you can throw the ball a little bit harder, be a little more accurate, have a little bit more foot speed, right? All those different things can add together so day by day you can keep improving. What I'm referring to when I say reaching your full athletic potential is the idea of reaching your full potential today. So getting the best out of yourself on any given day. This means if it's a practice day, getting the best out of yourself and unlocking your potential that day. If it's a performance, a game day, you want to unlock your full athletic potential on that day. That's what I'm referring to when I say unlocking your full potential. It's being the best that you can be today. To me, this is a much more accessible way for you to think about becoming the best version of yourself as a player and unlocking your full potential. And the truth is, if we are looking at this long-term approach of you becoming the best player that you can be and unlocking your full potential long-term, it will be made up of you getting the best out of yourself on any given day, getting the best out of yourself in practice, training, and during games. So what we want to do is we just want to focus on getting the best out of yourself and reaching your potential today. Now, it's going to vary, right? I mean, there are going to be days where you wake up and you feel tired. You feel like you've trained so hard, but you are mentally and physically fatigued. And so your best that day will not be your best on a day where you are fully rested. So this isn't about always comparing to how I've done before, how I need to do in the future. It's just, what do I have to give today? How much energy do I have to give today? Right? Where is my body at physically in terms of physical rest today? And how do I get the best out of myself today with what I have? And so tip number 1 that I have for you is to adopt the right mindset. Getting the best out of yourself on any given day requires you to want to do so. It is that want to that I'm referring to when I say that you need to adopt the right mindset. It's a mindset where you say, today I am getting the best out of myself. I am going to reach my potential today. I'm going to be the best that I can be today, whether that is with training or whether that is with a practice or it's with a game. Adopting the right mindset where you wake up, you go into practice, you go into the game, and you say, my intent today is to be my best. Not my intent today is to be the best in terms of the result, but it's to be the best in terms of the process that I give. I want to give the most effort. I want to unlock my potential in terms of my focus, in terms of my positive thinking, in terms of the way I bounce back from mistakes. If you take that mindset to your practices and games, where you say, I will be the best that I can be today in terms of the process parts of my game, in terms of what I can control, I will unlock that potential that I have, you're going to see yourself start unlocking your potential in terms of the results of your performance. But all of this starts with you having the right mindset. Now, going off that idea of having the right mindset, tip number 2 is you want to know your peak mindset. So this one will apply specifically to games. So the last tip I said you want to adopt the right mindset, which means you need to wake up every single day, going into every practice, training session, or game saying, I will be the best that I can be today. That is my intent. My intent is to unlock my full potential for today. One of the ways that you can help unlock that full potential on game day is to understand what's known as your peak performance mindset. Now, the mindset that an athlete has in order to perform their best will vary from player to player. The reason that it varies is because it will vary based on your personality. So let's say that you are the type of athlete who really thrives off the idea of proving other people wrong. Proving other people wrong or the want to do so will be part of your peak mindset. Whereas for another athlete, that might be a huge distraction for them, where they try to prove other people wrong, but then this turns into the fear of, well, what if they're right? What if I make a bunch of mistakes today? And then it turns into them playing with anxiety and fear. You also might perform your best when you are just relaxed and having fun and enjoying the game. That's going to be the way for you to pull the best out of yourself. But if you go into the game and you're thinking, I need to reach my full potential today. So then you try to be super serious and angry and have that killer instinct. But the truth is, you play your best when you are relaxed and having fun. You're not actually going to unlock your full potential. You're just distracting yourself by having the wrong mindset for the game. So if you want to unlock your full potential during any given day or on any given game, right? You have to know what is the peak mental state that you need to be in order to perform your best. One of the best ways to understand what your peak mindset is to look back over some past games you've had, some really good games you've had, and try to identify what are some similar characteristics between those games. Were you focused on proving other people wrong? Were you playing angry? Were you playing in a relaxed and fun state? Were you focused on winning? What were you focused on? How were you feeling? Try to create that mindset based on those experiences. Then what you can do is try to focus on getting into that mindset going into your games. Tip number 3 is you want to set clear goals. If I want to get the best out of myself today, right, whether I have a practice today, a training session, or I have a performance or a game today, the way that I'm going to get the best out of myself is knowing what I need to focus on in order to perform my best. Performing my best for games will be, clearly competing in the best way possible. So the goals that I will set for games in order to compete the best that I can will be goals that help me unlock my full potential, right? So goals that help me keep myself focused on the process of my game, keep me focused on some mechanical cues that I need to do in order to play my best. For training sessions or practices, I'm not so concerned with, necessarily performing my best in terms of the result. Since it's a practice or a training session, I want to perform my best in terms of the practice and the improvement that I make. So I need to make sure that I have clear goals as to what I want to focus on for that practice or for that training session that will help me improve. So the simple way for me to separate these two ideas between these practice goals versus these game goals is that, number one for both, we want to have a clear intent as to what we want to focus on for that day. If we have clear intent for what we want to focus on, we will naturally start performing better and unlocking more of that full potential. For practices though, or also training sessions, when you're setting these goals, you want to ask yourself, what do I want to work on today? What is my intent for practice or for training? If you have a team practice and coach has drills set for you, you're not going to get to choose what you're necessarily going to do, but you do get to choose what you are going to focus on. And so a really simple example of this is when I'm working with baseball or softball players, their coach might have them going through batting practice that day. So they don't get to necessarily choose even how many reps they're going to take in the batting cage. But what they can focus on is what they are working on within their swing. So are they working on keeping their hands inside the ball? Are they working on driving the ball more to the opposite field so they want to let the ball travel a little bit more? They can choose what they're going to be focused on in terms of their improvement for that day. So for yourself, when you're setting clear goals for practices or training sessions, make sure you know what exactly am I working on today? What do I want to improve during today's training or practice? For games, these goals will be focused on what do you need to be giving your attention to and focused on that will allow you to play your best. This will be relatively similar to the peak performance mindset statement, right? Because if I know that, for me to perform my best, I need to be having fun and I need to be relaxed. Well, one of my goals that I'll set is to focus on being relaxed, right? Or it might be to focus on why I am enjoying the game. Something else I might say for games is that I want to focus on the present moment. So I'm going to set a goal of being focused in the present. There's a basketball player that I've been working with where he and I have been setting the goal of being aggressive with offensive rebounds. Because for him, if he's aggressive with offensive rebounds, that ends up getting him into the rhythm of the game and creates more positives for him and helps him create more of that feeling of success, which then just translates to other areas of his game as well. So if you want to get the best out of yourself on any given day, whether it's a practice session or whether it's a game, make sure that you have a clear goal or clear goals set for yourself. Tip number 4 is to focus on productive thinking. There is a direct link between the way you think and the way you play. The reason there's this link present is because when you think a certain way, so let's say you think, I hope I don't make any mistakes. That thought will drive a feeling. If you're thinking, I hope I don't make any mistakes, the feeling will likely be a feeling of fear or anxiety, right? Worry. You don't want to make any mistakes. You're trying to avoid these mistakes. So then what ends up happening is your actual performance or your play or the actions that you take out there will mirror the thoughts you have and the feelings you have. It's very rare for us, unless we're consciously trying to control it, for our actions to go against the way we are thinking and feeling. So if I'm thinking, I hope I don't make any mistakes, so then I'm feeling kind of scared, timid, I'm feeling a little anxious. My actions will mirror that. So then I'll play in a hesitant way. I'll play scared. I'll try to hold myself back because I'm playing to avoid mistakes. In a similar way, if I'm thinking, I'm going to go out here and play great today, I believe in myself, That'll create more of a positive feeling, which will then translate into more of an aggressive type of attitude and aggressive play out there, and I'll play in a more confident way. So we will see a link between our thinking and our performance. And we could even look at mistakes. So if you make a mistake, how are you thinking after that mistake? Are you thinking in a way that keeps you focused on that mistake? Or are you thinking in a way that gets you moved past the mistake so you're getting reset onto the next play so then you can move forward within the game? This is the whole idea behind productive thinking. And I don't say positive thinking because you don't always need to be thinking, oh, everything's great, everything's fine, everything's perfect. You need to be thinking in a productive way, which means you understand the impact your thoughts have on your performance. And if you understand that impact and you know at any given time during a game or during a practice or a training session, you need to make sure that your thoughts are leading to success, which means your thoughts are helping you instead of hurting you. So if you want to get the best out of yourself and reach your potential during a practice session, a training session, or a game, you need to have that productive thinking. In order to have productive thinking, you want to start practicing something known as conscious and active thinking. This means that during games, during practices, you try to focus on thinking in a way that will help you. So you start to choose the thoughts that you want to have. You can also begin before practices and before games reading over what's known as a self-talk list to help get you more into into that pattern and that rhythm of having more productive and helpful thoughts. Now, I've put a link right here to another video that goes into detail on helping you be more deliberate with your thinking. So if you are interested in learning a little bit more about this idea, you can go ahead and watch that video to learn how you can use your thoughts in a more deliberate way when you play. Tip number 5 is you want to keep a steady head. Now I want you to think about, maybe you've experienced this before personally or you've seen other players experience this, but you make a mistake or there's a bad call or coach said something to you or to another player, and then, you just lose your composure or the other player loses their composure, gets upset, gets distracted. Now on those days, is that player or yourself performing up to your potential? Probably not, because when there is so much frustration taking over, when there is this loss of composure because of a mistake, a bad call, or anything else, performance level typically drops. And if performance doesn't drop, it definitely doesn't increase to the point where you are performing up to your potential. So if you want to play up to your potential and get the best out of yourself today, whether it's a practice or a game, you have to keep a steady head. And a great idea to kind of keep in mind when it comes to keeping a steady head is to be non-reactive. Being non-reactive as an athlete means that you don't emotionally react to everything that happens. So if you make a mistake, you're not getting so upset. But even if something great happens, you're not, shooting through the roof with excitement. You just keep a pretty steady head as you're playing. What this is going to do is it's going to help you stay focused, number one, but it's also going to help you keep more of a balanced emotional state. When you are in a more balanced emotional state, you have more control over yourself and more control over your actions. And if we link this back to the last tip, I was talking about having more productive thinking. When you lose your composure, your thinking starts to get negative and it becomes out of control. If you can be a little bit more non-reactive, it will be easier for you to control your thinking after mistakes or after something happens, which means it will be easier for you to then control your emotional state and your actions. So if you want to unlock your full potential, if you want to be the best athlete you can be on any given day, keep a steady head, right? Don't allow your emotions to get the best of you. And tip number 6 is to be present. When we're wanting to perform up to our full potential, we have to recognize that the performance or the practice or the training session that we are doing is happening in the present moment. So if we want to get the best out of ourselves right now, we need to be here, right? We need to be here right now. We need to be in this present moment. But it's so easy for attention to drift into the past and to think about a past mistake. It's so easy to think about what the game will or how the game will turn out, right? Or what will your performance even look like for the next game if you're in a practice? It's very easy and natural for our mind to drift into the past or into the future. But if you want to be the best that you can be today, you have to make sure that you are staying present. So whether it's a practice or whether it's a game, be present. Now there are a lot of different ways that you can be present within your game. Setting clear goals is something that helps you be present because when you set clear goals, this keeps your attention focused in the here and now. Having more productive thinking is also something that will help you be more present. But a very simple way that you can actively practice being present is to focus on conscious breathing. What conscious breathing is it's where you turn your attention onto your breathing. If you're playing an actual game, you might not be able to take slow, deep breaths, but you can still focus on the breathing that you're doing. If you do have some time where you are between reps, it's a timeout or whenever it might be, focus on taking some deep breaths and bring your attention onto your breathing. When we focus on our breathing, we are present. It's the reason that a lot of different meditations have you focus on your breathing, because they are trying to quiet your mind and help you be more present. When you are present, you allow your body and you allow your skills to take over. A lot of mental performance coaching work involves us getting the mind out of the way, right? So we're trying to get the mind out of the equation so you're not overthinking, overanalyzing, playing with fear because you're focused on the outcome and all of that. When you are present, you stop getting in your own way with your negative and unhelpful thinking, and you start to allow your physical skills to take over. So the last tip I have for you, if you want to be the best that you can be on any given day, is to be present. So remember that when we're trying to unlock our full potential, it's not some ideal version of yourself, years from now at the top of the mountain. It is being the best that you can be today, whether it's a practice or a game. And these 6 tips will help you unlock that full potential for yourself today. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. I put out new videos each week on sports psychology and mental training. And if you're interested in any of the sports psychology programs I have available, I've put links to those in the description below. Thank you for watching, and I wish you the best of success in all that you do.